Have you ever noticed how just watching someone stub their toe makes you wince? Or when you see a stranger cry in a movie theater, your throat tightens even if you don't know them at all? What's really happening in these moments? Why do we feel the pain, sadness, or joy of someone else as if it were our own? That strange but beautiful human trait isn't magic, and it isn't just sentimentality. It's something deeply wired into our brains, something scientists discovered not too long ago: mirror neurons. These tiny brain cells may hold the secret to empathy, compassion, and the invisible threads that connect us to each other. But if they give us the ability to feel each other's pain, they also reveal something darker: how easily we can be manipulated, overwhelmed, or even paralyzed by emotions that aren't entirely ours. So today, let's go deep into the mysterious world of mirror neurons. Because by the end of this journey, you might look at every smile, every tear, and every interaction with another person in a completely different way. Here's a question for you. Have you ever walked into a room where everyone's laughing and suddenly felt lighter, even though you didn't hear the joke? Or maybe you've sat next to someone who was anxious, and before you knew it, your own chest was tight, your own thoughts racing? That's mirror neurons in action. Your brain is literally copying what it sees in the people around you, as if it can't help but step into their shoes. It's a survival mechanism, but it's also the foundation of love, community, and even morality. But to really understand this, let's go back to where the story begins. A group of scientists in the early 1990s studying monkeys. They weren't searching for empathy. They weren't looking for anything spiritual. They were just mapping brain activity, trying to understand motor functions. One day, they noticed something strange. When a monkey reached for a peanut, a specific set of neurons in its brain lit up. No surprise there. But then, something unexpected happened. The monkey was just sitting still, watching a researcher grab the peanut. The monkey wasn't moving at all, yet the same neurons fired, as if the monkey itself had reached out and taken the food. That discovery stunned the scientific community. Neurons that fired not only when an action was performed, but when that action was merely observed. These became known as mirror neurons. Now here's the twist. These aren't just about physical movements like reaching, eating, or waving. In humans, they extend much further. They light up when we see someone smile, and they nudge us into smiling back. They activate when we see someone cry, and suddenly, we feel the heaviness of their sadness in our own chest. It's almost like our brains can't tell the difference between doing and watching, between our pain and someone else's. And that, my friends, is the hidden engine of empathy. But let's pause and ask something unsettling. If we're hardwired to feel the emotions of others, does that mean we're always at the mercy of the people around us? Think about it. Ever scrolled through social media, seen outrage or despair spreading like wildfire, and then noticed your own mood plummeting? That's not just psychology, it's biology. Mirror neurons can drag us into collective fear, collective anger, or even collective despair. They can make us feel things that never originated within us, and unless we become conscious of it, we can lose track of which emotions are ours and which belong to someone else. Here's where it gets even more fascinating. Mirror neurons aren't just about empathy in the soft, sentimental sense. They are also tied to learning, imitation, and survival. When a child learns to smile, to speak, to behave in a group, it's mirror neurons doing the work. When soldiers march in unison and feel a bond that transcends individuality, it's mirror neurons at play. When a mob gets swept up in violence, feeding off each other's aggression, that too is mirror neurons. So the very mechanism that makes compassion possible can also fuel cruelty. And that duality reveals something profound about human nature. Empathy isn't automatically good. It's raw energy. Where it takes us depends on how we direct it. Think about this in your own life. Have you ever comforted a friend so deeply that their relief felt like your own? That's empathy at its most healing. But have you also ever been drained by someone's negativity, carrying their burdens as if they were yours, until you felt powerless? That's empathy unchecked. Empathy without boundaries. It's mirror neurons pulling you into someone else's storm. Now, let me throw a question at you. What happens when we suppress this system? Imagine a person who never feels what others feel, who doesn't flinch at suffering, who doesn't catch joy, sorrow, or fear from those around them. Sounds a lot like a psychopath, doesn't it? And in fact, Studies suggest differences in mirror neuron activity in people with antisocial traits. Empathy, then, isn't just some moral ideal. It's neurological. It's hardwired. And when it's absent, the human connection begins to break. But here's an open loop I want you to hold on to. If empathy is automatic, if mirror neurons fire without our conscious choice, then where does responsibility come in? Are we just emotional sponges, doomed to absorb whatever is around us? Or can we actually learn to use this system, to strengthen it, shape it, and even protect ourselves from being hijacked by it? Let's answer that. The truth is, while mirror neurons are automatic, our awareness is not. We can notice when we're picking up someone else's energy. We can choose whether to mirror back or to step aside. That's where emotional intelligence comes in. The ability not just to feel, but to know what to do with those feelings. Imagine walking into a workplace where gossip and cynicism spread like poison. Without awareness, you sink into it, mirror it, and soon you're just as bitter. But with awareness, you recognize, these emotions aren't mine. I don't have to copy them. That single step can change everything. And here's another layer. When we intentionally mirror positive emotions, we can transform relationships. Think of leaders who inspire teams not through force, but by embodying calm, vision, and resilience that others unconsciously pick up. Think of parents who regulate their own emotions so their children feel safe and steady. Think of a friend who laughs easily, making everyone else relax and open up. All of that is mirror neurons too, but this time, used deliberately. So, the next time you feel dragged down by someone else's stress or anger, ask yourself, am I absorbing their state? Or can I be the one to project something steadier, something lighter? It's not about suppressing empathy, it's about directing it. And this is where mirror neurons move from being a mystery of biology to a tool for living wisely. But let's go even deeper. Why does it matter that we can feel each other's pain? Beyond survival, beyond bonding, what's the real significance? Some philosophers would say it's what makes us human at all. Without empathy, morality collapses. Without empathy, love is impossible. Without empathy, even art loses its power. Because what is art if not one human soul communicating with another through sound, image, or story? When you cry at a film, when a song makes your heart ache, it's mirror neurons allowing you to step into a life that isn't yours and yet feel it as your own. That's not just science. It's the essence of being human. And yet, here's the paradox. To live fully, we must both embrace empathy and guard against it. We must let ourselves feel the world while not being drowned by it. Too little empathy, and we become cold. Too much, and we lose ourselves. The balance lies in awareness, knowing when to lean in and when to step back. So, let me ask you this. How would your life change if you became more conscious of the emotions you absorb, more intentional about the emotions you project? Imagine a world where people didn't just react, but chose. Where kindness was contagious by design. Where we could feel each other's pain, but instead of spiraling, we used it as fuel for compassion and action. That's the hidden power of mirror neurons. Not just to connect us, but to elevate us. And as we wrap this journey, I'll leave you with this thought. Every time you smile at a stranger, every time you comfort a friend, every time you choose patience instead of anger, you're not just shaping your own life. You're literally shaping the brains of those around you. You're teaching their neurons to mirror something better. That's not small. That's not invisible. That's world-changing, one interaction at a time. So the next time you wonder if you matter, if your small acts of kindness make a difference, remember this. Your brain is wired to influence other brains. Every look, every word, every gesture ripples outward in ways you may never see. That's the truth about empathy. It's not a feeling, it's a force, and it starts with you. If this exploration opens something in you, take a second to like this video. It tells the algorithm to share it with others who might need it too. Subscribe for more deep dives into psychology, philosophy, and the hidden forces that shape our lives. And share this with someone who might need a reminder that their pain, their joy, and their kindness matter more than they think. Because the world feels each of us, more than we realize.